No, and even my little brother messaged me the other day and he said, "Hi Dom, I want to see if I can get into cryptocurrency, but obviously I ain't an idiot and I don't want to be scammed. Have you ever done it? Do you know anything about it that can help? And do you know any good bots?" I don't know what he meant by bots. but this is the kind of stuff that I get on a daily basis and it drives me insane. It's like, you know...
Everyone wants to think, though, don't they, that they're just around the corner. There's like that thing that's just going to literally poo out money for them and then they're going to have to do very little about it. Like you say, as a bot, there's something out there that you literally can just sign up to and it just churns out money for you. Like, does it always?
And that's how people get fucked over, because a lot of these crypto scams will be like, right, okay, buy Bitcoin with us, sort of thing, and then it will say, all you do is just give us $2,000 and we'll guarantee you that investment back in a week, and then the next week we'll double. And it's always like that, where like we'll trade cryptocurrency for you. That's what people always seem to go for, because I don't need to know about it, they're trading it for me, I'll just give them my money.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, I'm just moving downstairs because the internet's really bad and for some reason I can't connect to my phone anymore after this update. So I'm just going to try and move closer to the modem. I'll be 2 seconds.
What update has made you not be able to connect your phone?
Oh, mate, Microsoft really cocked up enough.
Sounds like Lawrence of 3 months ago.
Sounds like Lawrence is right. All right, I'm going to sit on the stairs, see what happens. Hello, you are listening to TW3. We're the show that highlights the world's insanities. We tackle the fake news that plagues us, and we make fun of those that deserve it. I'm your host, Dominic Lane, and this week I am joined by the infallible Lawrence Ray.
Hello.
And our resident fact-checker-in-chief, Gregory Bush.
Give me a fact and I'll check it.
Any day of the week. So this week, Boris Johnson declares pubs and shops shut to enable schools to reopen. Trump does a Prince Andrew on HBO. An innovative gun exchange program takes place in New Orleans. And a government funds sex parties. We'll be talking about all this and more right after the break. Now, before we get on to our bread and butter this week, I do just really want to quickly mention Lebanon. Nibsy, of course, we all know him as that funny Australian lad, but he is actually partly Lebanese. I think his parents are both Lebanese, and he's been particularly touched by the atrocity that went on in Beirut this week. So our heart goes out to him. I'm sure all your hearts do too. And we wish him well. We wish his family well. And he's fine, by the way. Don't think that he's not. He's fine. He's just going through quite a lot with his family, etc. So, yeah, our heart goes out to him. I'm sure we all wish him well. Just wanted to quickly mention that before we get on to the more jovial part of our show, as it were. So, big love, Nibsy. All right, guys. So, this week, Boris Johnson gave President Trump a run for his money.
I think I'm right in saying that we are now testing more per head of population than virtually any other country in Europe, certainly. In America, they're testing a huge number of people.
You could tell when he said Europe, right? You could tell that he almost said, we're testing more people than anywhere in the world. I don't know if you kind of...
Yeah, he sort of like double caught himself there.
He did. And also, I'm sorry, but I do kind of want to know to whom I complain that I have not had a test yet. We keep saying that we're testing all these people, but I've not. Have any of you guys had a test yet? How do you even get a test?
I haven't been tested. I've heard that it isn't as difficult as it once was. Apparently now, if you have symptoms, you have to call someone up or something, and you can go to this like drive-through testing. But I don't know if that's still. I don't know, man. I think you call up a number and they tell you what to do, basically, I believe. So apparently it is possible to get one.
It's all to do if you have symptoms, I guess.
Yeah, it's all symptom-related, yeah.
Still. Also, the one thing I did want to quickly bring up with this, which made me laugh, is that it's all well and good testing people, but we keep talking about this world-beating test and trace system. Where's the app, Boris? Where's the app? You know, countries all over the world have been delivering these apps, and we've spoken about it since, May? April time?
Also, as well, it seems like they're just desperate for like a win, aren't they? They're just desperate to say, like, you know, they're doing well at something. Like they've been like, so well, yeah, but we're testing more people than anything. And I was like, yeah, that is great and everything. You know that, you know, you could argue that's like a real important step in like clamping down and get it all under control and whatever, but it seems to be like, that's the thing. Yeah, but I've heard actually that we're testing more people now than anyone else, and it's like, oh, great, okay, yeah,
well done, good job, Borry.
So now you're aware of like how good or bad the situation is. Like, what do we do now? We're like, and it's it's a strange metric to be competing for.
So do you think this app will ever materialise? Apparently, it's going into trials. And it's going into trials based on the Google Apple version of a decentralised approach to the data, i.e. the data is kept on the user's handset device. And if you think it will materialise, I ask you the same question that I asked you back in April time. Will you use it?
Okay, I've got some answers for you. So first off, will the app ever turn up? Probably. Will it be any good? No. Will I ever use it? No.
Says the man who uses TikTok.
Damn right. Yeah, I think the thing is, I'd probably trust the Chinese government with my data more than I'd trust the UK government at this rate, quite frankly.
That's such an illogical approach.
Also, another thing is, I have first-hand experience of the government's tracing system. So I went to a cafe the other day, and I had to write my name and address and telephone number on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's innovative. It's really innovative.
Well, no, I have a very, very serious point on this, right? Is that, anyone, you can't just collect data. You have to do something with it. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. And if you take the Eurostar, say from France to England, you have to sign a piece of paper. And you have to say what train you've come from, where you've come from, have you been in France for the last 4 days, yada, yada. Okay, but what happens with all these pieces of paper? Is there some like old lady in the back office filing and sorting them into folders? I mean, seriously, it's got to be more electronic, because you have to do something. You have to, collecting data is one thing, sorting data is another thing, and then interpreting data is like the third step. And I don't believe that's happening. I think it's being collected to look good. Yes, Lawrence.
Yes. And also, what about the securing the data as well? Because this is something that was interesting. I was listening to, the French. This has been a bit underneath, and this is a bit of a taking it into another direction a little bit. But I'll dial back. The French government passed an act basically banning pornography unless you sign up to say that you're 18 or under, like we were planning to do in the UK, and then gave up because it seemed impossible. And essentially, there you're going to use your credit card information, etc. So they're going to trust pornography companies to store really sensitive information like people's age, their credit card information on all of their people in France, and not be hacked, because pornography companies are full of fantastic security that's world leading apparently. That's going to happen there. This data, how can I trust the local CAF to keep my paper with my name and address and number? What the heck is going on, man? This is just terrible. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I think it's probably more secure in paper form than it is in electronic form these days. But anyway, look, we'll move on to the second soundbite of the week. Now, I don't know if you picked up, but Donald Trump went on HBO and had an absolute Prince Andrew of an interview. And I use that term as I think we should coin it. When someone does a really bad interview, they do a Prince Andrew. And I've got a couple of little sound bites from here, which I just think are great.
There are those that say, you can test too much. You do know that. Who says that? Oh,
the old classic.
Read the manuals. Read the books.
Manuals?
Read the books.
Manuals.
Read the books.
What books?
What testing does? I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Let me explain. What testing does, it shows cases. It shows where there may be cases.
Yeah, so guys, read the books, okay? Read the books on testing. And if that was, I honestly, I would love to just play the whole thing, but you can go and watch it, and we'll link a video down below in the description of where the whole thing is. But I'll just play you one more clip, and then we'll have a chat about it.
It's giving them a false sense of security.
Now, I think it's under control. I'll tell you what.
How? 1,000 Americans are dying a day.
They are dying. That's true. And it is what it is. But that doesn't mean we aren't doing everything we can. When I took over, we didn't even have a test. Now, in all fairness,
why would you have a test?
No test.
The virus didn't exist. How would you have a test?
Honestly, when you sent that through on the chat earlier in the week, I honestly thought it was one of those joke kind of, like he was talking to someone else, and then the interviewer was in a different room, just sort of doing mock reactions to it, I did, and then suddenly the camera panned out, and you saw them both in the same room. I was like, "Wait, this actually happened? How did this go ahead? Where did this?" The interviewer was really good, wasn't he? Like, someone that actually like presses him on the stuff that comes out of his mouth. But yeah, it was ridiculous. And again, like it was just a politician like desperately like clamoring for a win. And unfortunately, like Trump is probably even less eloquent than Boris Johnson. So his way of going about it was just highlighted it even worse. Like he held this graph and he was like, no, but look, if you look at it this way, like it was honestly something out of a comedy sketch. What was going on?
For me, it was. I'm going to go ahead and say this now. Okay, so obviously everyone has their favourite moment of 2020 or 2019 or every favourite of the year. Usually people wait to the end of the year. I'm going to say this now. This was my favourite moment of 2020. I already know it is. I don't have to wait to the end of the year. This was the best thing to ever happen. The video is incredible. The bit where he gets his little graphs out and he's like moving them around and it's like these little line graphs. We're better than the world. It's like, it is sensational. Some of the best material I've ever seen. And you can't be beaten for like raw comedy value. This cannot be beaten.
I agree, and I would love to have played that soundbite when he gets out the chart, and it looks like he's telling a page out of his colouring book, and he's like showing his teacher what he's been working on. But I honestly, it can't be done justice over the radio. You must go and listen to it. Watch the video online. I thought it was brilliant.
Agreed.
All right, guys. Yeah. So let's go to a break. We're doing some emails later on today. So if you want to get anything into us, please do email us in at podcast@tw3media.co.uk or tweet box us at tw3media. We'll be right back after this. Well, welcome back, guys. So, Greg, what's your story this week?
So this was a story that really caught my eye, and I think it's quite close to my heart. Really, not for the fact that the guns are being exchanged. It's more the fact that what they're being exchanged for. So in New Orleans, trumpeter Shamar Allen wanted to find a way to get guns out of kids' hands, so he turned to what he knows best: music. And he recently created a gun for trumpet exchange program called "Trumpet Is My Weapon." And for those who don't know out there, like me and Dom worked at a bar, and I was often sort of touting the positive benefits of listening to jazz sort of 24/7 and having fiery jazz playing in the bar, and because I am a trumpet player myself and sort of played the trumpet for ages and studied music at university and whatever. So so this guy Shamar Allen, he quoted as saying, "I had some trumpets lying around, and I know for me the trumpet saved me." He wants kids to feel safe and that they can sort of come to him, contact him, and if they hand over a gun, he gives them a trumpet in the sort of a swapsy program. This has led me to I don't know if you really want to sort of talk about like your opinions on like guns in America and how you possibly ever tackle this. I don't think it'll ever be like solved, will it? It's a shame that Nibsy wasn't on actually this week, because I wanted to talk to him about cause as far as I'm aware, in Australia they tackled sort of guns, didn't they? They had them. They were legal until
90s, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of fairly recently, in modern times, and there was a big sort of mass shooting, like the sorts we've seen in America. And they said, right, guys, let's all hand in our guns. You've got so long to do it, and now, they've pretty much eradicated. Guns aren't legal over there now, are they? So it just struck me as interesting. But first of all, guys, do either of you play an instrument, or have you ever had lessons on an instrument?
I used to play piano for years, and I played the ukulele for a bit. But I never actually got any enjoyment from playing musical instruments. Never got enjoyment from it, which is interesting because I'm like a stupid amount of music lover. Like I love everything about music basically, and I listen to it all the time. Basically, you get people who don't you? But I listen to it 24/7. But yeah, I don't really, and I like even learning about the technicalities and why things sound like they do and how it's made and all that stuff. But I don't have any interest in playing instruments, which is really odd.
Yeah, I used to be quite a semi-serious violin player. I used to play the bassoon, believe it or not.
I can't imagine that.
I did. I used to play the bassoon. I used to play the piano a bit, and I kind of was playing around with the saxophone and clarinet. I used to play all kinds of instruments. It is one of my deep regrets in life that I've completely let it go, because I think it's one of those things that almost feels chore-like. Your mother sending you to music lessons when you were a young child, but actually I feel like it would have brought me great pleasure, now and later on in life, to be able to play these instruments. So I have kind of set myself a challenge quite a long time ago. Basically, the whole challenge is by the time I'm 30, I want to fix 3 things that I totally regret being ignorant little child to at school. And that was, one of them was coding. The second one's learning a second language, because I was always one of those ignorant little explicitive bag kids that would sit in French and say, oh, why do I need to learn another language when... And also musical instruments. So I hope by the time I'm 30, I'll have learnt to play the piano again, because I feel like it will bring me great pleasure. But yes.
Oh, that's nice. But yeah. So this program, like in New Orleans, I thought it was just such a great idea. Like, it's, for an area that has such a sort of rich heritage and culture around it. That I imagine, like, even to this day, the kids are still probably certainly aware of that music, and it has such a big music scene. Like, even today, with the sort of the modern funk like brass bands and hip hop brass bands now that are like popping up over there. So I think this will be successful, certainly, and the hope that it will be, like, my heart goes out to him, and thanks to him for offering such a thing to the kids out there and whatever.
Definitely, I think that's a piece of really, really good news. And yeah, I mean, talking about guns in America, I don't know if you picked up this week, but it's worth mentioning that the Attorney General in New York is suing the NRA to disband it. So the NRA is the main. I think it's like I don't know, what would you call it?
It's like the gun club, but I don't really know why you need that when it's legal to have a gun. Like, why do you...
It's basically, they're all about upholding the amendment that states you've got a right to bear arms, and that's their whole foundation. Well, anyway, apparently there's been mass fraudulent activities in this organisation. This is not proven in law or court yet. They've been misusing and mishandling money for years, paying their top brass litany of fees and amounts that amount to fraud, essentially. And so she's suing to disband the NRA, which that would have some profound consequences, although at the same time, America's so in love with guns that I'm sure NRA 2.0 would just pop up the next day, I would have thought.
Yeah. But fair enough, bold move.
I mean, my opinion on guns has always been anti them, and I've always had like a belief that really, okay, yeah, you should be able to get like a specific license for hunting and things like that, but it's got to be like quite strict, kind of like we have in the UK, where you can do it, but you just got to be sensible. It's got to be quite strict. Having said that, the one thing that for the first time in my life made me actually go, oh, okay, I actually kind of get where they're coming from when it comes to protect my property and protect this and whatever, was during these riots recently, and you had all these, basically, the people just making excuses to go and just destroy people's homes or businesses, and then you had these people just turn up with a gigantic rifle and pistols and just say, come on then, come destroy my property. Basically.
But is that not a matter for law enforcement?
Yeah, but the thing is, law enforcement weren't doing shit all, were they? So that's the problem, where there's a lot of circumstances, especially in America, where law enforcement lets people down, aka either killing innocent black people for no reason, hurting innocent white people, anyone really, for no reason, and also failing to protect anyone's property during riots. And that's when I think, you know what? Yeah, all right, I'd like to have a fully automatic rifle to protect the property that I've spent all my money in my life on, or the business I've spent my entire life on.
But you can't take it into your own hands, can you? That's the problem. Like, you can't,
that's the whole point. You can't be a vigilante.
I see your side of it, Lawrence, in that I don't know how I'm like anti-gun as well. Like, I just think, like, yeah, sure, if you could eradicate them in America, like, great, but I don't see how you tackle it, because unfortunately there are some people that are so passionate about owning it and they're never going to have it. And if some people have them, then like, I can totally see that, I will get a gun to protect my house if like the robber that's coming to my is likely to have a gun.
I've quoted it many, many times, and I still implore everybody to watch The West Wing. But there's a great there's a great little scene in there where he essentially he's talking. I think Bartlett, who's the president, he's talking to a congressman or something, and the congressman says, "Look, I get it, but how are you going to get them all back? If you want to ban guns, how are you going to get them all back? There's more guns per person in America by like how many fold? Like 100-fold. Yes. You just can't, if you banned guns tomorrow, you just couldn't possibly get it back. They did it in New Zealand, didn't they? After the shooting, and the government, I think, actually bought the weapons off citizens, but it was obviously mandatory that they had to sell them. But I can't help but mock someone who feels the need to walk down the street with an AK-47. In Texas, you're allowed to do that, or a a semi-automatic rifle. Give over. What are you trying to prove?
Yeah, it would terrify me as well if I went out there and there was a guy with this gun. But yeah, the riots did make me realise that, okay, there is that side to the coin where just seriously imagine for a minute, like putting your life savings, right, hundreds of thousands into a shop or whatever it is that you've done, which a lot of people do. That's your entire life, and then people are going to come across and just destroy it, burn it down just for their fun. Mate, I'd take a few or fully automatic rifles and put them straight to the dome if I could. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's times in life when you think, no, I spent my bloody life building this. If you want to wreck it, you're going to go down bloody trying to wreck it. That's how I would see it. And I would be there with a bloody bazooka if I had to take them down. I'd be Molotov cocktailing these bitches. I'd do anything I could. Like, I wouldn't give a shit. Like, so I do get it. I get it now. After seeing that, I actually do get it now. Like, but yeah, as you say, good luck trying to get them away from them anyway.
All right, guys, we'll move on. Right, I think it's time for you to indulge us, Lawrence. Why governments? Here we go. I mean, just go. Why are governments funding sex parties?
So, first off, after my previous blunder, I have checked this out on multiple news sites, and it is definitely true, okay? I've tried my very best. I've gone again, and I've researched, and it seems to be true. Okay, right. So, we know that the British government has set up like this investment future fund thing, basically, for companies that are affected by COVID, British companies that are affected by COVID. Now, the British government has invested £170,000 in a company called Killing Kittens. And Killing Kittens organises women-led adult parties in London and New York. And Wednesday, they admitted openly that they secured investment from the Future Fund, designed to help startups survive the coronavirus pandemic. Now, the company's CEO, Emma Sale, referring to Bojo, Whiffle Waff Waff, said, "I never envisaged Boris as a sleeping partner." Whiffle Waff Whiff.
Oh, God.
Killing Kittens has arrived on the digital scene, and we're now pioneering the fastest growing adult social network in the world, she said. So she founded it in 2005. And basically they organise members-only masked parties, adult parties, in exclusive venues with a focus on the pursuit of female pleasure. And yeah, they have lots of members. But yeah, essentially, because of the coronavirus pandemic, you obviously can't have your adult parties for obvious reasons, as we've discussed already in previous episodes. And so they've tried to push into the tech industry. So they want to do like sort of Match.com rival apps and things, and Bumble rival apps. And so they're going to use this investment from the government to basically bring in more adult apps to the world, which I think is fantastic and also surprising.
Okay, so that was cryptic. I was thinking there was some kind of Silvio Berlusconi type bunga parties that the government was funding, and it was some like mad, conspiracy that Lawrence was the breaking news source in Westminster.
No, sadly not. But I mean, the government is investing in sex parties technically, so.
Well, fair enough. I'll give you that one.
Lawrence, and they have been for many years, as we all know, anyway. So, because they've all been doing their own ones, but yeah, they're now investing in sex parties for the rest of us, not just the elite. So there you go, guys. Question for you all, based off this news: have you guys been to any adult parties before? You two?
No, sounds awful.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Oh, okay. Wait a second. Okay, right, that's fine. We'll leave it at that.
I know exactly what Lawrence is going to say. He's going to be like, yeah,
no,
20.
I actually have not. It's always been something I wouldn't mind going to see what it's like, because it'd be weird as hell. But I haven't been. So it looks like only one of us has been to sex parties.
Okay, we're going to move swiftly to a break. I'm now all flustered. Podcast at tw3media.co.uk. We're doing emails after the break. You can tweetbox us at tw3media. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, guys. So, you're probably wondering, where is the game? So, we haven't done Have I Got Fake News for You for a couple of weeks. We're going to move that onto more of like a 3-4 weekly thing. But starting next week, we're going to have a new game, which is an old-time classic called Don't Even Get Me Started. So,
that sounds exciting.
Don't even get me started. 1 minute will go on the clock, and you can talk about a problem or stroke issue, stroke something that's really annoyed you. Greg, this is like your speciality.
This is me all over this.
Greg's catchphrase is "Don't even get me started."
Yeah. I'm just an old man. More and more every day I realise I'm just a grumpy old man.
Myself and you both, Greg. And 1 minute will go on the clock, and you can talk about whatever you want, rant, rave, something that you read in the news that's really annoyed you, something that's here. Now, would anyone like to go today? Does anyone have anything that's particularly... Lawrence?
Nothing in the news. There's just something that really winds me up. I mean, if anyone else has got anything else they'd like to talk about, if not, I can go.
All right, Lawrence can go.
Greg, you can follow me if you like as well. We can.
I've always got something to rant about, but
right,
I'll give you a minute. Ready, go.
Okay, where do people leave the washing up sponge? Okay, because this pisses me off on a daily basis. Okay, right. First off, the washing up sponge has to be clean. Okay, sponges soak things up. Okay, they soak things up. So they soak up clean water or dirty water. They soak things up. That's the point of a sponge, and the sponge is then used to clean some things. So why the F would someone leave the sponge sat in a sink full of dirt that I've just washed off of my plate?
I do that!
In dirty water. Why? It's a sponge. It's supposed to be clean. It soaks up the clean. This is literally, I would divorce someone over this. Why would you leave a sponge in a dirty sink full of dirty water, and then people are like rinsing out the dirty water,
and then it smells
on top
all
of the
mouldy.
clean sponge. Yeah, exactly. Leave the sponge on the side of the sink, or in like a little sink sponge tray thing that people have, or something. Don't just shove it in the fucking dirty sink to collect dirt. And honestly, if that happens in the
5
workplace,
seconds.
kitchen, it makes me want to top myself, and that's the end of that.
Well, that was concise. Yeah,
that was good. You know what? I can go as well, because the reason why I thought about this game, all right, was because Nibs obviously is very ranting and raving at the moment. I thought, you know what? What's funnier? You can put 60 seconds on the clock, and I will tell you about a little story that I've had this week.
And go.
How many of you have Deliveroo? Right? You order Deliveroo, okay? It is one. I have it 3 or 4 times a week, and every single time my order is wrong. It drives me insane. I order a Diet Coke, never comes. I've ordered 100 Diet Cokes from Deliveroo. I've had 40 max. It's the easiest, most simple thing in hospitality to pack a bag full of products that someone's ordered and checked it over a receipt. I can't be the only one. This is right. So I wrote a letter to the CEO of Deliveroo, and I outlined my issues to Will Shue, and I said, look, I get it. Hospitality's really not busy at the moment, but it's like the simplest thing to just get an order right. And I can't be the only one. We all know Brits don't like to complain. So
5 seconds.
I firmly believe this problem is rife. And yeah, that's my rant, because it really peeved me off. Yeah.
I can back you up here, Dom. I can back you up. So I've only ever ordered from Deliveroo once and Uber Eats twice in the UK. In Brazil, never problems. In the UK, once Deliveroo, twice Uber Eats. Every single one of those 3 times, the order has been incorrect. I've got either something I didn't order or just completely lost an item. Whereas when I've ordered from Just Eat, I've got everything completely correct every single time, no problems. Or if I call up or whatever, fine. I
ordered a ramen last night, and I got a chicken katsu curry. I don't like chicken katsu curry. And I'm there, and it's 9:30 at night. I'm still working. I don't have time to get on the phone to them and start going, sorry, I've got a chicken katsu curry instead of my ramen. Oh, and by the way, shock horror, the Diet Coke's not there either. There's a surprise. I mean, it's just like, Greg, have you ordered Deliveroo recently?
I mean,
never comes
I
right.
hate to say this, like I feel like we're sort of sounding a bit out of touch as well. Like, I just want to sort of clarify for the listener that deliver, like takeaway and whatever, is a bit of a different sort of thing in London compared to the rest of the country. Like, it's more sort of popular, and like, you know, there aren't as many like supermarkets and whatever around in London. Anyway. But unfortunately, I have to agree with you, Tom. Deliveroo is a pile of absolute horse. I don't know what is going on with it. Literally, I always have like an argument with if we ever do get takeaway. Like I'm a strong advocate that we always have to get from Just Eat, because Just Eat for some reason just seems to work more of the time for whatever reason.
Somehow.
Deliveroo, not even wrong orders. It just doesn't turn up. Literally, I have a call from the guy outside the flat, and he goes, "Oh, I'm outside now," and I literally say, "Okay, 1 second, send someone down. Get down there." It's gone, and then like I get a notification saying failed delivery, and then we literally sit on the phone for ages trying to get like a refund. It's like, they haven't delivered the food. Like, what? Why are we at fault for this? And they're like, well, I'm really struggling to. And both times, like, we've contacted the restaurant, and then they're like, no, you have to contact Deliveroo. So literally, Let alone they're extortionate. I don't expect to for them not to get a living wage out of it and whatever. But delivery should be expensive compared to like Just Eat. I don't understand what it is. And
The thing-
before you even get the food, you're putting an order through, and they say, "Do you want to tip the driver?" It's like, hasn't got here yet. What are you talking about? What? How do I even know the food? Also, there's been times the food hasn't even got here. Before I even receive it, do you want to tip the driver? It's like, I don't understand.
Oh, but it's so true.
This is dangerous.
It is so
we
true.
can't do this game. It's already raising my blood pressure up. Oh.
This, by the way, is Greg's bread and butter. This kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to this game next week. I obviously wrote this letter to him and just pointed out a few, like, it was quite a good letter, I think. I wasn't aggressive. I wasn't like I demand refund or anything like that. I just pointed out the fact that they want, they say that 1% of food is currently ordered online, and they want to obviously increase that percentage. But you got to get the damn order right first. You can't convince customers that ordering online's better if the orders are always wrong. How? You've got... I know. And the thing is I don't actually blame Deliveroo. It's the restaurant side of things that are messing things up. Yeah. I know there are some issues with deliveries and, yada yada. But if the order's wrong, at the end of the day, the order's in a brown paper bag that's usually sealed. Do you know what I mean? So they're just delivering it. Yeah. Although I'm convinced that some drivers are having off with my Cokes. Honestly, they are definitely... every time I open it in front of them, show them that there's no Diet Coke there, and then I'm convinced he's driving away on his bicycle with a Diet Coke
What, is he
hand.
there, like, burping? As he drives away, he's like, oh, no, I haven't seen it.
100%. All right, anyway, that was great fun. I look forward to next week's. So, yeah. Look, we'll get on to some really quick emails, and then we should probably start to wrap things up. Some really quick emails. So... John mentioned the other day, he said, he talks about economists believing that children missing their half term of their school year will have a profound impact for generations. All I remember doing is watching videos. And I think this is a fair point. Do you not remember children miss the last kind of 6 weeks or whatever of their term? All I ever remember doing at school was just sitting there watching videos for those 6 weeks.
Oh, And literally, I've been doing some supply teaching, whatever. You're held ransom if you're not the teacher that doesn't put a video on. Kids are like, what do you think you're doing, sir? I don't know if you looked at the calendar recently, but it's the last week of term. I'm meant to watch videos. And like, what? I've become that old teacher that was literally like, you're here to learn, guys. You're not doing it. And yeah, they just literally expect to. Now it's like, if you're not giving me. It better be a fun activity or a video, otherwise I'm not doing any work. Because it's the last week and I've earned this. Yeah.
I don't believe for a second that kids not being able to watch videos will have a profound impact on the economy. I get if it's longer missing of education, I understand that. But I agree, the last couple of weeks of the last term, I think it's more the parents that are desperate to get their kids back to school, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think, and I can completely understand that in many ways. I think the people's appreciation for teachers has gone up 20-fold over the last few months. All right, well, thank you for that. So, next one, love the show. Oh, the Trump soundbites get me every time. What are you going to do should he leave office in January? Fair point. What are we going to talk about, guys? Donald.
Don't worry, he will not be leaving office in January. I can assure
Lawrence
you.
With his Make America Great again.
MAGA! No, trust me, he is not leaving. There's no way
That's
he's losing
if
Biden.
he even...
No way. If he does lose to Biden, we've got Joe Biden.
Either way, I'll say Biden's got some absolute clangers out there as well already.
He'll
He's
come
not
out
even
with
in
some
office yet, so...
Yeah. That's true. And this week, Biden, he said something about Latin Americans, that he said Latin Americans are more diverse than black people, or something like that. I think he was taken really out of context, because I did see this on Donald Trump's Twitter feed. And I didn't necessarily watch the whole thing. Yeah, I think we'll have plenty of content. And then, Conspiracy Theory Corner. Lawrence, where is it? What's happening with Conspiracy Theory Corner?
Well, I had a conversation with Nibs, and he was gonna lead the conspiracy corner. Now, having said that, he's not here, and you guys are not exactly conspiracists, are you? I need at least one person on my side for this.
You know, I'm open-minded.
Okay.
I'll be interested to hear about it. You know,
Right, okay.
Doesn't mean I'll agree with anything, but
I think
you
what
know.
we should do is we should enforce a mute on Dom for conspiracy corner.
Yeah, I'm about as open-minded to conspiracy theories as I am my Diet Coke being missing from my delivery order.
So we'll
That's
mute
a
Dom, and then we can
conspiracy
run a conspiracy. We can run a conspiracy corner. And this podcast, I reckon we're going to get tons of listeners who will just want to know about conspiracy corner, and this will just turn into conspiracy corner podcast. And Dom, you'll have to deal with that.
All right, guys. I think we can wrap things up for this week. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure. Please do email us in podcast@tw3media.co.uk. We endeavour to read them all out. Or twitbox us at TW3media. It's been a bye from me. Bye from Greg. Bye from Lawrence. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. That was the week that was.
Toodles.
Goodbye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.